You've seen the Colosseum. You've marveled at the Pantheon. You've walked where ancient emperors walked. But what have you seen inside the houses of Rome's elite? Welcome to my channel. And today we are taking a peek behind closed villa doors to uncover the secrets they held. The wealthy homes of ancient Rome were like exclusive members-only clubs, where power, privilege, and pleasure collided in the dimly lit rooms and manicured gardens. The interiors of Roman villas were sanctuaries of luxury, places where the elite could escape the clamor of the city and indulge in their wildest desires. But why? Why did the Romans build such lavish homes? Well, it was a necessity to display their status and wealth. The size of a house in ancient Rome was a clear indicator of one's social standing. The grander the property, the deeper the pockets. It wasn't just about showing off, though. These houses were fortresses against the chaos of Roman life. Behind thick walls and guarded gates, the elite could enjoy some tranquility. It was their slice of heaven, in a world filled with noise, dust, and danger. Now, let's go back to those parties. Imagine you're a guest stepping into a room filled with the finest fabrics, the softest carpets underfoot, and artwork that tells stories of gods and heroes. The air is thick with the scent of incense and wine, and the sounds of laughter and conversation mingle with the gentle strumming of a lyre. A handsome young man, Atticus, pours you a glass of Falernian wine, one of Rome's most prized imports. It's sweet, fruity, and goes down smooth. You sip as you take in the scene. Women adorned in fine jewelry and elegant dresses laugh and gossip in low voices, while others dance with abandon, twirling and dipping to the rhythm of a flute. The flickering light from oil lamps and candles casts dancing shadows on the walls. Adorned with paintings of mythological scenes and portraits of the powerful, a group of men stand near an ornately carved marble fountain, discussing poetry and philosophy. Their words are lost to you, but their animated gestures and booming voices echo through the atrium. A woman catches your eye, and you find yourself captivated by her beauty. Her name is Livia, and she moves with an effortless grace that sets her apart from the rest. Her dress is a masterpiece of Roman fashion, a flowing garment of fine linen that drapes elegantly over her form. A golden chain rests on her shoulder, holding a purse made of the finest leather. Her hair is styled in an elaborate braid, adorned with pearls and gemstones that catch the flickering lamplight. Atticus joins you, noticing your gaze. Do you admire her? He asks with a knowing smile. You confess that you do. She is Julia, he says, nodding towards the captivating woman, and she is the mistress of this house. Her wit and charm are as renowned as her beauty. As he speaks, he glances at Julia, who is now engaged in a lively conversation with a group of women. Her eyes sparkle with amusement, and her laughter rings out, enchanting everyone around her. You can't help but feel a surge of admiration for her. Who is this mysterious mistress of the house? What secrets does she hold? In this exclusive club of the elite, where power, privilege, and pleasure intertwined, only the most influential could gain access. The Roman elite hosted extravagant parties that would make even modern-day celebrities blush. They spared no expense when it came to pleasing their guests. Exotic foods from across the empire were flown in, including delicacies like oysters and exotic fruits. The finest wines were served on silver platters, and the tables groaned under the weight of delicious dishes. Music was everywhere, from the lilting melodies of a harp to the rhythmic beat of a drum. Professional musicians were hired to set the mood, and dancing girls in colorful costumes added to the festive atmosphere. The air was filled with the sound of laughter and conversation as people mingled and gossiped in hushed tones. It wasn't all about eating, drinking, and being merry, though. The Roman elite used these parties to further their own interests. Business deals were made, political alliances were forged, and fortunes were won and lost at the gaming table. There were also plenty of opportunities for scandal. Whispers circulated among the guests, tales of trysts and affairs that had the potential to shatter the carefully constructed facades of Roman society. One couldn't help but wonder what secrets were exchanged behind the closed doors of a villa, far from the prying eyes of the public. Let's talk about food because, oh my, the feasts they had. Imagine a 7-course meal fit for a king, starting with appetizers like pickled onions and olives, followed by hearty salads with toppings like cheese and nuts. Then came the main courses featuring roasted meats like pork and geese, accompanied by sauces, made with ingredients like vinegar and honey. To end the feast, there were desserts like figs and grapes. And let's not forget about the bread. Fresh loaves were served alongside fish dishes like salted garum and spiced eels. If you were a vegetarian, don't worry, there were plenty of options for you too, like vegetable tarts and fruit salads. And let's not forget about the entertainment. The Roman elite loved to be entertained, and they spared no expense when it came to their amusement. At their parties, you might see acrobats performing daring feats or musicians playing a variety of instruments. There were also theatrical performances, poetry readings, and even mock sea battles staged in the swimming pools. And if you were lucky, you might even witness chariot races in the courtyard. Just imagine the scene, the thud of hooves on stone, the crack of whips, and the roar of the crowd as noblemen and their slaves competed for glory in a thrilling contest of speed and skill. The Roman elite also enjoyed watching animal hunts, both real and simulated. They would hunt wild animals in the forests outside the city, or they would hire men to act as beasts and attack the unsuspecting guests as they strolled through the gardens. Now, that's a party game, right? These parties weren't just about having fun, though. They were also a chance for the elite to show off their wealth and power. They would invite other members of the upper class to their parties to impress them with their lavish displays of wealth. It was a chance to flaunt their expensive clothes, their fancy food, and their beautiful gardens. And if that wasn't enough, the Roman elite also liked to throw surprise parties. They would invite their friends and family to celebrate special occasions, like a wedding or a birthday, and the celebrations would last for days with parades, banquets, and even fireworks. And let's not forget about the decorations. Oh, the Romans went all out when it came to decorating their villas for parties. They would use fresh flowers and greenery to adorn the walls and furniture, and they would often hire artists to paint murals on the walls to add a touch of whimsy to the festivities. Now, if you were a fan of the classics, you would have loved the Roman parties because they were always incorporating elements of Greek mythology and Roman history into their celebrations. You might have seen actors dressed as gods and goddesses mingling with the guests, or you might have witnessed a reenactment of a famous battle. It was common for Roman elites to throw gladiator parties, where they would hire men to fight to the death in the arena. They would cheer as the gladiators fought and the blood spilled, reveling in the violence. It was a truly brutal spectacle. So what exactly happened at these gladiator parties? How did they impact Roman society? And what role did they play in the rise and fall of the Roman Empire? That's what we'll explore next. Gladiators were the stars of these brutal spectacles, highly trained fighters who battled to the death in front of a roaring crowd. But the truth behind their fights was far more complex than the myths and legends would have you believe. The gladiators were not merely slaves or criminals, but skilled warriors from all walks of life, many of whom had been captured in battle. They were trained in special schools known as gladiatoria, where they honed their combat skills and learned the art of survival in the arena. Their fights were not random affairs, but rather carefully choreographed performances designed to captivate the audience. Each gladiator had a unique fighting style and weapon, and their clashes in the arena were a mesmerizing display of strength, agility, and endurance. The crowds cheered and jeered, placing bets on the outcome of the fights and influencing the gladiators' fates. Victory meant freedom and adulation, while defeat often led to a gruesome demise. But the allure of the gladiator games went beyond the spectacle of violence. They were deeply ingrained in Roman culture and played a significant role in the city's identity. For the Romans, these fights were not just a form of entertainment, but a way of life. They were an integral part of Roman society and were attended by people from all walks of life, from the emperor to the commoner. The games were a unifying force that brought the community together and created a sense of shared identity. Despite their popularity, the gladiator games were not without their critics. Many saw the fights as a distraction from the real issues facing Rome and a waste of valuable resources. Some, like the philosopher Seneca, believed that the games were a form of barbarism and called for their abolition. Yet despite the criticisms, the gladiator games continued to thrive, capturing the imagination of the Roman people for centuries to come. We hope you've enjoyed this journey back in time to the lavish parties of the Roman elite. If you want to learn more about ancient Rome, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Until next time, thanks for watching.